Hello, my people. Welcome to another episode of New Affairs, where we give a platform to young people to also contribute to the national issues. Today, I have with me my brother and a friend. He's a writer and a political activist, Alfred Nusunyo.
Sure.
How are you doing?
Very fine, sir. Thank you. And how are you doing too?
I'm okay.
We bless God.
So today, I'm going to talk about the 120-day contract that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama had with the Ghanaian people. We'll be talking about some of the salient points that he made as he gave his speech. We also talk about the opposition, their stance on the 120 days that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has been in power. So let's delve into it. My name is Emmanuel, and this is New Affairs. All right, Alfred.
Sure, Ima.
So with the 120-day contract, that the social contract that His Excellency had with us, did you listen to the speech?
Yes, I did.
The address?
I did. Yeah,
Okay.
I listened.
So he made some salient points.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that. Now, to begin with, we will talk about the first one that he made, that is the lean government.
Yeah.
Is it really a lean government? Because it's very debatable. People are saying, yes, he told us he's going to give us about how many ministers?
60, yeah.
Although he has already appointed 56.
56, yeah.
But people are saying, when it comes to that, yes, it's a lean government. But he has made some other appointment that people think that when it comes to the financial burden of it, we have still not...
It's almost no difference.
Almost no difference.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Okay, well, I think that with this particular issue, we would first have to look at the things that people are saying about John Mahama's government, and then to place it side by side with previous governments in the Fourth Republic, because when we are talking about John Mahama's leanest government, which they are heralding or they are crusading, then what makes the government the leanest one in the Fourth Republic, like they are saying? Okay, so the promise was that he was going to nominate or call 60 ministers, or not more than 60 ministers. And as we speak, he has nominated 56 ministers. So it means that there are 4 more people to make the 60. So it means, yes, when it comes to the ministers, the number of people that he has appointed or nominated are less than 60. So it means that for that part, he has lived up to the promise. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we then have to question what the other people are saying about. It's just for the optics, like they will say. In actual fact, it is not really 60 ministers, or it is more than, as in terms of the other things that have been. But when we look at it into detail, the question is, what are the specifics that they are talking about? Which other things are they referring to? Because indeed, it could really be the case that there could be 60 ministers, but in actual fact, the government may not be lean. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can have 60 ministers, but the government may not be lean, because if you say you want to run a lean government, the reason is that the more you nominate, the more you have to care for.
Yes.
So, for instance, every minister we know has personal security provided by the government, mm-hmm. and all those things incur cost
to the state.
To the state. So it means that you can actually have few ministers and still not have a lean government, because having a lean government, the basic concept is that we won't have to spend too much. Mm-hmm. So we have 60 ministers, but is it really the case that it is not a lean government? If it is the case, what can we probe to know that, okay, although John Mahama has nominated 60 ministers, it is still not a lean government? So then we would have to interrogate the things that they are putting across. Mm-hmm. Is it that he has nominated, or in this government we have too many committees, we have too many...
The presidential staffers...
Yes.
But so, in your opinion, do you think it's a lean government?
I think it's a lean government. I mean, the facts are there to show. For instance, I think just yesterday I saw something on the minister in charge of government communication, Felix Kwachi-Fosu, put across an information, and that was, for instance, the number of people managing the president's communication, or the communication for the presidency, are just about seven people. Meanwhile, in the previous government, according to the data or according to the information he put out, in the previous government, the number of people who managed the presidency's communication were 28. If he's lying, then I'm lying. But I don't think for a government spokesperson, he would just put out any information which is not true. So, you see, and it's one of the issues that people have with democracy and all that. Because the truth of the matter is that over the years in our political terrain, the oppositions, especially both the NDC and the NPP, because they have ruled Ghana over the years, more than 30 years now. It has been a game they have been playing, but if we really interrogate the thing and then put it under a certain lens, we will know that indeed it is a lean government. Because, for instance, in the Ministry of Agric, if I'm right, in the previous government, the Ministry of Agric had several deputy ministers for almost every sector.
Almost every sector, yes.
You see, but I'm not sure that is the case for John Mahama's government. You see, so indeed, if we want to interrogate this matter, if we want to put things in the right perspective, we will know that for sure it's a lean government. Because ask yourself, where are the other 4 ministers? Is he even going to nominate them? It means that it is actually the case that the country can be run with 60 ministers or even less, because Ghana is a very small country. Ghana is a very, very small country. Other countries bigger than Ghana don't even have as many ministers as we do in Ghana. So it raises the question as to how politicians have been faithful with this country, or how they have dealt with us as citizens of this country. So I think it is indeed a lean government, and to a certain extent, he must be commended for it. Yeah.
I mean, this is very debatable, because people would also have their own. Because the conversation is not really about the number of ministers. They're talking about the presidential staffers appointment.
Sure.
But the other things, so we will not dwell so much on that. Sure. Now, one other thing that people are really talking about is the code of conduct for his appointees.
Very important. Very important.
This and other things. Other things like the National Economic Dialogue, the Procurement Act, the change there, the fiscal policy programs, the educational reforms. People are asking that, are these really relevant? I mean, they're saying it's easier to say, now something like the Kitchen is under the Jumeirah.
Yes,
okay,
so
we have
it's all the same policy.
Jumeirah policy, the apprenticeship, and these are all launched.
Yeah. They've all been launched.
Yes, 120 days is too small of a time for us to conclude that it's a work on it. But the question on people's minds is it really something that we should jubilate about? Yes, a promise was made and it was delivered. Yeah. But it's easier to launch.
Exactly so.
What's your take on people saying this is not something that we should be so happy about because it's easy?
Yeah. I think I share the same sentiments, actually. One of the things that has been on my mind is, number one, the government is young. This is just about 5 months. Government.
5 months into it.
So the first thing I have to say is that it is even too early to say anything good or anything bad about the government.
Yes.
Because it's a young government. I believe when Akufo-Addo's government started, in the first few months, I mean, they had the praises of Ghanaians, especially when they started with the free SHS. So I believe strongly that, number one, it's too early to praise this government so much, and it's too early to also bastardize them so much. And yes, I mean, 120-day social contract and all that. Are we going to really see the effect in the lives of Ghanaians? That's the question. And this is where I believe that it's a two-way affair. So, number one, we need strong institutions, just like Barack Obama said when he came to Ghana. And then we also need the human beings who run these government, enterprise institutions and all that. We also need morally upright human beings. So, I believe it's a two-way affair. I was having a conversation with somebody over the week, and one of the things that come up is that, I'm sure we all know, usually when people venture into certain things, they usually do not have the mind that, okay, maybe I'm going to steal, like.
Yes.
You see, sometimes the pressures and all that. So that's why I said that we must have a strong system. And then we must also have morally upright people in the system. Because the truth is that no matter the mechanisms you put in place, you can have the best of mechanisms in the whole wide world. If the people manning it, if the people running the system are not morally upright, they will find ways and means to outrun the system or to outwit the system. So, like, President Mahama can have the purest of intentions, but is he the only one running the government? No. So he can have the purest of intentions and still feel as president and not still live up to the expectation of the ordinary Ghanaian or of Ghanaians. So yes, the code of conduct, I believe strongly that it is very important because then, you see, one of the things I believe was the undoing of the Akufo-Addo government was that President Akufo-Addo was not, not strict. Was not strict, not even that strict. And if I may say this, he was almost like shepherding or covering the people who were doing wrong in his government. So it's like we need a president who can stamp his feet on the ground and say that no, once you have done this and it is not right, you must go. So that the next person that comes in knows that, okay, this is what is happening here. So I cannot have my way around anything, or I cannot just do anything and go away scot-free. So yes, the code of conduct, what will make it work is that the one who calls the shots, which is the president, must make sure that, because definitely you are the leader, you are the one everybody looks up to. And when anything goes wrong, it is at your doorstep that will bring it. So I believe that it is a leadership problem, and once they have started this way, he must be strong enough to call the shots when necessary. And I believe that by the time he's ending his last year, because for him, he says it's a legacy term. So he has his own name to protect. So I believe that everything comes down back to him. So yeah.
When you've answered the question I was about to, because everything comes back to the code of conduct.
Exactly
the importance of
exactly
that,
so. Exactly so.
So we've had a national economic dialogue, and I'm sure we are yet to feel that benefit of it. The education as well.
And then for the national economic dialogue, I think one of the issues, for some of the issues they discussed in it, I think they have started implementation. And I think Ghanaians have also started seeing the
I'm sure you are getting into the dollar dropping.
Sure, you know. And I think it's basically about how government runs its business, the mismanagement. Ghana mismanages a lot, and I believe that is one of the things that have cost us in the past, and it's still costing us. So
I mean, it's good that the dollar is dropping.
It's good.
I was listening to one of the discussions on City. Is it Channel 1?
Yeah, Channel 1 now, yes.
And then Daniel, sorry, is it Daniel?
Benadavle?
No, Dennis Abaji,
okay,
Miracles.
Okay. The MPP Communications.
Yes, Communications
Director also.
He actually made it clear that if the dollar is dropping, he has MPP,
admitted, yes.
He is happy
if
it's going to drop.
Yes.
Now, you've seen other giants of the MPP, like the minority leader, come out to say that it's not that they are doing anything special. It's just that government is not spending.
But when he says government is not spending, what does it mean? Does it mean that government is managing well? Because once day is coming and night is coming, it means that government is doing something. So if you say government is not spending, it means that
so you have
maybe he should be saying that the government is actually managing things well. But I don't know what he meant by that.
I mean, yes, your argument makes sense. But I think the point that he was coming from is government is not doing anything huge.
That wow. But the free SHS is still running.
You are making a very good point because free SHS is running, and still government is paying.
Energize is running, free SHS is running. Okay. They have begun the 1 million coders program.
Yes.
They have launched a whole lot of things. So government is clearly running. I think, like I said, that's one of the things that, one of the problems I have with democracy. It's like, it's almost like you always have to say something to bastardize your, and especially for a third world country, like people will say, is this something that we should be doing when many people across Ghana are living in abject poverty, and these are the things that we do? I don't think that we want to move forward quickly as a country, a third world country for that matter, when our counterparts are living as Singapore and co. They left us many years ago.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we started with them as third world countries. So
let's deviate a bit from the 120.
Sure.
We'll come back. But
all right.
What you said, I think, is bringing up something. When Nanado took over, His Excellency Nanado Dankwa took over in 2017, we saw him, in a way, pointing fingers at John Dramani, His Excellency John Dramani.
Exactly so.
We are seeing the same thing
now. Yeah.
We are in debt. They mismanaged. It's in a way becoming everyday
usual
politics.
Norm.
That's the usual politics.
Yes.
I don't know. And one thing that we've also seen is they make promises. And this will take us to the very big topic that people are talking about, the Galami. When NDC was in power, NDC was in opposition, they had big plans for the Galami.
Yeah.
Now they are in. And not just, I'm not limiting it to just the Galami.
Absolutely.
Other
things, yes.
They were like, we will do this, we will do that, we will do this. When they came into power, they are now seeing, we've now seen the books. It's much worse than we thought it was. NPP has done the same thing. In 2017, they made some promises. When they came into power, it's worse than we thought.
Yeah.
Do you think that excuse is important or is enough to make them fail on some of the promises? After your answer, we would then delve into the Galami and then I'll bring my point.
Well, it's something, you see, I think that there's something that we must have in mind. And just like I said, once we don't have a one-party state, when we have somebody appointed into government, it's like the person is doing two things. The person is doing politics at the same time running the government. So, but I think the underlying thing is that whatever was promised the people of Ghana, and I am glad that in the lead up to the 2024 general elections, President Mahama had several interviews, including interviews with international media organizations and all that. And of all the interviews I watched from different international media organizations and all that, he kept saying that this is our last chance at democracy. Because it's not as if we are so different from Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, Niger, and all those countries who have undergone coup. And remember, all these countries are in West Africa.
Yes.
They have begun forming their own body, the AES, in the Sahel region of Africa and all that. So one thing that makes me happy is that at least we have a president who is conscious of the fact that this is like the last chance at our democracy, at we having a continuous government or running a democracy. Because it's not as if the things which have happened there cannot happen here. If you have followed governance in the last few months, there are people who have been imprisoned. They were imprisoned under the President Akufo-Addo government for treason. They were actually planning. That's the allegation. I don't think it's an allegation anymore because they are in prison. They are in Nsawam prison now. One military officer, some other military men, and some police personnel and all that. Okay? And the allegation or the charges against them was that they were planning to overthrow the Akufo-Addo government. So imagine if there was no snitch, like we say in informal language, when this thing, because it was recorded. That was the evidence that was presented before the court. So they just couldn't defend themselves. They are in prison. So it's not as if the coups and the government overthrows happening around us cannot happen. So if President Mahama kept saying that this is our last chance at democracy as a country, Ghana, then he must really, 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 for himself, because it's also his last term, you have your name to protect. There are presidents in Ghana that when we mention their names, they don't have any bad name. I mean, they don't have any good name, generally. There are others that when we mention them, they have a good name generally. I mean, nobody has a good name all throughout, and nobody has a bad name all throughout. But generally, when we mention a certain name, the sentiments across is kind of twisted to one side. So if you have one last legacy to protect as a president, as a human being, because it's for you, it's for your family, your people you have, and all that, I think that he must stamp his feet on the ground, like I've said, and make sure that one of their signature policies, if I may put it, the Operation Recover or Loot, happens in full force. And in his last address, he made mention of this, the investigations ongoing and all that. We know that in the past, investigations have been ongoing since
years. And nothing
but
happened.
what is the different thing going to happen now in this government? And it is going to say a whole lot in the 2028 elections and even in the history of the country.
So let's move to the Galamsey fight.
Sure.
As a country, do you think that our fight against Galamsey, especially under this government, we have done well?
Well, Galamsey under this government, this particular Galamsey issue,
let's
yes.
take it as the general one from the previous government, another government, and then we bring it to this particular government.
You see, this Galamsey issue must be discussed dispassionately, because especially if you are someone discussing this Galamsey issue and you are known to be someone who speaks for a particular, or who is tilted. You know, there are people who have not revealed themselves that I'm for party A or I'm for party B. But when people talk, we know that you belong here. But if we get people that we know to be very objective, that this guy, we can say that he neither belongs here nor there. He is objective. If we get people like that speaking on the issue of Galamsey, then we can at least trust a little bit their judgment. But the issue is this: we cannot absolve the NDC totally and say that they are not part of Galamsey. Neither can we absolve the MPP totally and say that they are not part. We know for sure that the Galamsey issue is a political issue. There are faceless people behind it who are political figures or who are powerful and influential people. It's for sure. Some of them we know, plain. I mean, you can yes, some of them we know that these people are, and they are not even hiding it. They come on TV, radio, and begin removing gold bars and all that. So it's not as if it's something we don't know. But we should begin asking ourselves that, do we love the citizens of the country more than the gold, more than the money we get? Do we love the natural resources, the geological, state of the country more than the gold and whatever we will get? That's the question. Because the truth of the matter is that the real issues underlying Galamsey, they are so huge, and you won't have to say, or you don't have to say that you are not in maybe the Galamsey prone areas, like where Galamsey is so high, the Asante region, parts in the central region, eastern region. So you don't have to say, okay, I'm in the northern region, so
I'm not really affected.
Once you are in the same country, one way or the other, you'll be affected. But it appears it's some form of, greed, because the water bodies that have been destroyed will be used to irrigate the plants and the seedlings that farmers are planting all over the place. It's the same rivers that they used to do the irrigation for the big farms. When those crops are harvested, they will go to other places where even Galamsey is not going on. The people there will consume. And one of the things, if I may even jump ahead of myself, one of the things that the what they call the Mahama Cares Fund, Ghana Medical Trust Fund, will be taking care of is such diseases, because there are diseases that are not under the cover of the NHIS. So you see, what has caused the so much increase in kidney failures, kidney diseases and all that? When we go into it, we realize that this thing is doing so much harm. And even yesterday, I saw a video on X, former Twitter. And somebody was, leveling a whole lot of allegations against one NDC chairman in the Asante region. That's why it always boils down to leadership, or boils up to leadership. always. And that is why, no matter who you are, if the government succeeds, it's the president has succeeded. If the government fails, the president has failed. And so the president must make sure that, like he has said in previous interviews before he became president, he must live up to expectation to protect his name and to move Ghana forward. Yes.
In his speech or in his address, he stated that 7 out of the 9 forest reserves have been saved from Galamsey.
Yeah.
Now, when he was campaigning, he made this promise that he was going to repeal the LI 2468.
Yeah.
People are calling it a U-turn.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a U-turn.
Yeah.
Although it's not exactly what he said he would do. Now he is saying when Parliament reconvenes, they are going to bring forth the bill that is going to amend
yes.
the
I heard that, and
2462.
I've read it as well.
Now, the main thing is going to prohibit the president, or going to take away that power that
from the
president
president,
has to approve or grant approval for the
mining to be done in our forest
reserves. Amending it, and even in his speech, he stated that the amendment will prohibit the president from granting approval for the mining forest reserves.
Yeah.
The issue now is
exactly amend and repeal.
Repeal is going to remove everything.
Absolutely.
Amend. But
you are going to
fine
tune. Yes. So, and just like, I don't know if you can read that part again, where he said amend to prohibit them from
president from granting approval for mining in the forest.
So
reserves.
what difference does it make? And I don't know, for this issue, I think they have to come clear, because some time back, the minister in charge of government communications, the Honorable Felix Kwachiofosu, said that they were going to repeal it. So it means that law is not going to be there at all. The LI 246 is not going to be there at all. So, but the president is speaking, says that it's going to be amended. So it's like some double we don't know where they are right now.
I'm not one to defend.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is, if it's repealed, the president will not have that power
anymore.
And with the amendments, the main thing is also going to be amended in a way that the president will not have the power. Don't you think it's... And now, the argument that people are bringing is the Mining Act 2003, the 703 in a way will protect some of the things that... it's
miners do.
Actually advisable for that the LI to be repealed. Now, they're saying they're going to amend also the Mining Act 2003, and it will completely prohibit mining in forest reserves. So in a way, I feel even if it's amended, it's going to be taken care of.
I think that, you see, this whole Galamsey issue, it's not as if Galamsey has not existed in Ghana before. No.
Always. It has always been.
Because actually, the story I have heard behind the name Galamsey is that the natives, because they were not educated, could not pronounce, so gathered them and sell. They became Galamsey. So it means that it's an Asian thing. So what is happening now? I mean, like, I keep asking myself, the Shangfan, the machine they call Shangfan, and nobody assembles Shangfan machine in Ghana.
So, from outside.
Yes, of course. I mean, who Osao Kantanka, does he assemble Shangfan, or I mean, do they make Shangfan? They don't. Really? Caterpillar, nobody assembles Caterpillar. Even if they assemble Caterpillar, you know the company that assembles the Caterpillars.
Yes.
But the truth is that no company assembles Caterpillars in Ghana. So all those Shangfan machines, the excavators, those are machines that are not even manufactured anywhere in Africa. Even if they are manufactured anywhere in Africa, before something enters Ghana, we have entry points.
Yes.
And it's not as if when the thing gets to the entry point,
it vanishes.
Kofi come and take yours. Then Kofi comes. I mean, no, there are processes. We know who is behind what. You pay for something before the machine is... So things don't just end up at the port and then people rush from their homes and just come and pick it and go away. So you see, I have always said that to make this country prosperous, we need the political will. That is how great leaders... China wasn't the China we know. In Nkrumah's time, China wasn't... I mean, Nkrumah was overthrown because he went to Asia to mediate the Cold War. I mean, the Vietnam, Hanoi War that was going on at that time and all that. So it means that at that time, it wasn't as if those countries were so much developed, but it took decisive leadership for the leader to stamp his feet on the ground and for him to get people who support him, who know his vision. So this Galamsey issue is just something that can be dealt with if we have the political will. But like they say, the people doing the Galamsey are the financiers of the parties. That's what they say. So how can it stop if we really want to stop it? But I hope that at the end of the 4 years of President Mahama, we hope to see some change for his own good and for our good. Now,
I've heard some of the big political wigs, they make a comment like... the Gamy Fight is a complex one, especially in the forest reserve.
Sure.
I'm not talking about now. I know people come from my head when I say this, but I think it's something that if you have gold in the forest, right now, no one is complaining about people mining in our lands.
Nobody.
If it's not in a water body, fine. If it's not in our forest reserves, fine. And if you are using the right processes to do it, you're okay. But in our forest reserves, whether we like, I mean, this is where it becomes, but whether we like it or not, some way, somehow, even if it's not now, some years to come, many, maybe when we are going to grandchildren, grand, whatever, we will still mine in the forest areas.
You see, and that is where I think it's not as if, definitely, you see, like when they started constructing the Pokwase to Insaum Road, they had to demolish properties along the road because the road was becoming wider. The construction wider. So a lot of, in fact, there's one popular hotel at Festus area.
Go affected.
And those people have been compensated. All of them have been heavily compensated. All the buildings along the road that were broken down to make way for the construction of the road, they have been compensated. So it means that any time that something must be done. Emphasis on must be done. Because if you want to go and mine in the forest reserve, you have to do your pros and cons, like they will say. What does it take to bring down all those trees, including the wildlife in them? Because all those things are important for the ecosystem.
Yes,
I mean,
they bring that balance.
Very important. So you are going to clear the forest. I was going to say centuries old trees, wildlife there. I mean, and all the benefits that such an area adds to the ecosystem. You are clearing it off because you are looking for something good. Okay. So if you must at all cost mine the gold, how can you make sure that the gold you are getting is not at the expense of the forest, so that after you have mined the gold, then the whole place is destroyed, totally destroyed, that it cannot be recovered? So there are responsible ways that mining can be done. That is for sure. It is there. Okay. Why don't we go for those responsible means by which mining can be done, and then mine responsibly? Because I know that when mining is done, they are able to reclaim the land.
Yes.
By covering the pits, possibly planting trees, so that after some 100 years,
you will get back.
If the gold comes back, and you can come back. But here lies the case where
they are not doing it.
No. They just leave it and go. Like when you use your map on your phone to capture how parts in the Asante region and other places, like your heart.
I mean, the way we are fighting them, if we are sending in military men,
that
gun-wielding men to go and, obviously, how are they going to reclaim a land where they've been sacked?
The thing is that many of them are illegal miners. Because in Ghana, there are legal, Asante goldfields, those are people who mine in Ghana. But I'm not sure anybody has gone to persecute them or prosecute them. Nobody. So the truth of the matter is that many of the people mining in our forests do not have the license. They are doing it for their own pockets, and they are not doing it responsibly at all. Thankfully, they didn't enter Kakum. I mean, when I heard the story, I was like, Jesus, serious? They were going to enter Kakum because they have discovered that there is gold there. So it means that the way they are doing the thing irresponsibly, if they discover that there is gold under your house, they'll come. And so one day you'll be sleeping and then your house will just sink in.
Yeah, I think there's a issue like that.
Road, I mean, yes. I saw a video. They are mining just beside somebody. I was like, I
think a woman got
this
killed.
guy, or this owner of the house, they're giving him something. Because how they come and mine just in front of your house? The thing is becoming so serious, and we need the political will to deal with it. And so we'll plead with the president, who we see has a good heart, and who we know it's almost like everybody likes him.
I mean, he's fresh.
I mean, so
Grace Bell, so everyone like him.
We really hope that he does the things that will please Ghanaians, and we are praying for him. Yeah.
So moving away from Galami,
sure.
The Mahama K.
Yeah.
What's the name actually? It's
Ghana Medical Trust
Ghana
Fund.
Medical Trust Fund.
Yeah.
People are saying, why is it called Mahama K?
Exactly so.
I mean, I'm sure he had the idea from Obama K.
Between that Akufo-Addo having his own statue. Why should you name something after yourself?
Wait.
Is that
with the statue? that one is debatable because
it was somebody that did
somebody
it.
did.
Sure,
Although yes, it was a government appointee who spearheaded.
Sure, I think that was the Western Regional Minister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I think.
So why is it called Mahama case?
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
He introduced it. Sure. Although the fact that he's naming it after
himself,
and that one is not even the name. It's
actual
something
name.
but
that's kind of an unofficial name,
unofficial
or an informal name.
I don't see the big deal around that because I'm sure he got the idea from Obamacare. We have something like that.
Yes, there's Obamacare. But from what I've heard him say, he says he doesn't know anything about how the name came about.
Oh, okay.
So it was the kind of the committee that sat to put that idea together. They decided that. So he has said it severally he has said it severally. I've watched videos where he said he doesn't know which people decided to put. Mahama.
I actually thought it's coming
no.
Obamacare.
So the people decided to kind of honor him so that like Ufogalo,
Okay.
So it's kind of that thing. But he said he's not the one behind the name Mahama case. Yes. So
it's not a big deal.
Yes,
and that has also been, that promise has also been fulfilled.
As for the promises, you see, they are being fulfilled. But what we are looking for is that after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, we do not just want to have a name like Ghana Beyond It.
President
Akufo. So we just don't want names. Okay, Jumera, Kukon Kitten, like what 1 million coded. No, like we want to see something working on the ground. Okay, we don't just want to say okay, Ghana Beyond 8, one district. The one district, one dam thing. I'm sure you've heard of the Pualugu Dam. Several governments, including they have squandered huge sums of money, but there is nothing to show.
Sure.
So it's just names. So yes, 120 social contract, you have done well. Personally, if I'm scoring, I would say maybe 75 or 80, you have done well. But after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, after 4 years, are we really going to see, is the ordinary Ghanaian going to see that, yes, this thing has had impact in my life, in my family's life and all that? That is really what the ordinary Ghanaian wants to see. And we really pray that it works out.
I mean, with the fact that you're saying the impact, it brings us to, I don't know what they are doing, but fuel is down. Wait, I know what they are doing.
I don't know what
I know what they are doing. I mean, these are all some of the things that in a way have contributed to some of the things that we are seeing now.
Mm-hmm.
Fuel is down, dollar is down.
Yeah.
Inflation,
okay.
So inflation is dropping.
Yeah.
But
something is being done right.
Something is being done right.
Yeah.
I agree with it. So if I'm to score the 120 days, I'm not going to give a figure, but I'll say we are on the right direction.
You should give a figure. For me,
I
my list would be like 70%. I think that so far for the things, but you see, I believe that, and they themselves know. Even me, let me use myself to do an example. The main reason why I voted, and I voted for John Mahama, I should say, the main reason why I voted for John Mahama is so that the many millions, thousands of cities, many thousands of cities that have been stolen, misappropriated, like the Operation Recover All Loot must work. As for me, that's my number one reason why I voted. So, I mean, and I'm sure that many Ghanaians share the same sentiments. If after 1 year we are not seeing anything,
you come and
the 2028, in fact, we organize demo. Ora must work demo.
Okay. So yes, when it comes to corruption, it's being dealt with. Although we are seeing it in a way, it's being more targeted to the opposition. But well, all these are being done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in a way, it's not really affecting the average Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Cement prices are going up, and that's the argument of the opposition
party. Yeah.
Doomsaw is still there.
It's still there. Like Doomsaw is there, glaring.
And now, one thing they are saying is, you said e-levy is not good. E-levy was 1%. You've taken it out. But we've seen increase in electricity, 14%. We've seen water increase 4%.
Yeah.
In 120 days, these are the achievements. Good. But these are the bad sides.
Sure.
We still have Doomsaw, increase in electricity.
Sure.
Fuel prices are down, dollar is down. But the average Ghanaian has still not felt the impact.
Exactly so. And
termination of a contract and all that.
Sure. And you know, one thing that we must make clear is that there is no government that is 100% efficient. No government. It doesn't exist. No government that is 100%. No, in fact, there is no human-run institution that is 100% efficient. Maybe 90, but maybe not even 95. So as for the 100%, we can have it.
We can.
But We can know when a government has failed. As for that one, everybody can know that this government has failed. But we can know when a government tried.
It's like you're pointing fingers, but okay.
I mean, I'm not mentioning any government. Yes, but what I want to say is this. When it comes to the tariffs going up and all that, I mean, these are things that Ghanaians definitely will talk about because we are feeling it in our pockets. One of the problems I have had with this country is almost all the state-owned enterprises run into debt.
Yes.
Almost all the state-owned. And you know what pains me so much? The managing directors of all these state-owned enterprises, if you know the things, did I say things? The money they take home every month, though, the thousands of cedis, thousands, like many thousands, if I say I'm not saying 2,000, many thousands of cedis they take home every month. And their performance, like you wonder. And that is why I'm very happy that President Mahama has introduced the code of conduct.
So everything goes back to the
it goes back to leadership, and it goes back to what you as the president is doing. Because, like he said a few days ago, he doesn't understand why he said that Ghanaians, when we are happy, we drink. When we are sad, we drink. When we are not happy nor sad, so how do you sell alcohol and still run at a loss? And these MDs are taking huge sums of money home. Like, I don't know if you were here in Ghana, the SIC woman's issue. Did you follow it?
Yes.
Charlie, did you see? Home? My goodness. And this man takes home, like, how much? Well, a lot. And your companies are still running at a loss. I mean, so what are we doing? Like, what is this? So I believe that fiscal discipline, and I'm very glad that so far for the videos I've seen of President Mahama's convoy, I've not seen more than 5 cars.
Yes, I think recently.
But for his first government, we used to see a number of cars in one convoy.
I mean,
and under the government that has just gone.
Well,
but so it gives an indication that President Mahama, I mean, somewhat is a changed man. He has learnt his lessons and he's in for good. I only pray, and I believe that's the prayer of Ghanaians, that it continues to be like that. Because for a president to be in a car of 5 in African leader, Charlie, is an improvement, especially in a democracy. I mean, but a convoy of 6 cars, you have the security you need. Yes. Nobody should be able to do anything to you.
I'm not trying to defend the other government, but
I mean, the other government, we saw a convoy of 50 cars. I was like, hey, Charlie.
It wasn't just him. He had party faithfuls with him.
You see, all those things, they are funded by the state.
Okay,
and those are the things that you see. Those are the things that Ghanaians see. They will note it down. Okay, 2028.
Yeah, sure.
You see, and the thing builds up.
Yeah.
One thing happens, they note it down. Okay. Another thing happens, they're to be piling up. Because 50 cars, what are you going to do? I mean, what the people following you? What? In fact, who is looking for you to kill you? That's the question. Yeah. You see, so we must begin to see the change, and I'm glad that so far,
seeing the change.
So far, I'm only I shouldn't say it, but there's a little fear. Is it because they are new? That could be the thing. Like, okay, your mobile and chair, they are new, so maybe after 1 year, the arrogance will start setting in, like it did for the other people who left.
Yes.
But we hope it is not the case, because if it is 2028.
You will show them.
Why would we?
Right now, Ghanaians are very
Charlie,
wild.
right now,
the least mistake you go take.
You go, cry.
Okay. Hello, my people. This is New Affairs. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow our social media platforms.